I first noticed something was off when the light bulb in the hallway kept burning out 3 times in 1 week. But what really got to me was the faint sound of breathing when the house was completely silent. I live alone. It's a small rental house on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just enough space for me, my dog, and my freelance work-from-home life. The attic is one of those old pull-down hatch types in the hallway ceiling. I've only been up there once when I moved in to store some boxes. Ever since then, I never gave it a second thought, until things started shifting. It began subtly. A spoon left in the sink when I was sure I put it in the dishwasher. Closet doors I never opened slightly ajar. My phone charger wasn't where I left it, tiny things, the kind you almost blame on forgetfulness. But it started happening too often to ignore. One night, around 2:00 a.m., I got up to get water. As I passed under the attic hatch, I swore I heard the faintest creak from above. It stopped as soon as I froze. I stood there, staring up at that square panel in the ceiling, my breath catching. My dog, Rizzo, was at my feet, ears perked, tail stiff. He growled softly. I told myself houses settle. Wood expands and contracts. Old beams creak. Still, I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I brought out a stepladder and tugged the cord to the attic. Dust rained down. The ladder unfolded with a groan. I climbed halfway up and peeked in with a flashlight. The beam danced over the same boxes I'd stored Christmas decorations, old books. Nothing looked disturbed. But just as I started to climb down, something caught my eye. In the far corner, behind the insulation, was a blanket, folded neatly. Right next to it, a paper cup, half full. My stomach turned. Someone was staying up there. I climbed down, shaking. I wanted to call the police. But what would I even say? There's a blanket in my attic? A cup? Maybe it belonged to a previous tenant. Maybe a contractor. I told myself anything to avoid the panic crawling up my spine. So I installed a baby monitor up there the next day. Small, motion triggered, hidden between the boxes. The feed came straight to my phone. The first 2 nights, nothing. On the 3rd night, around 3:11 a.m., the camera pinned. I tapped the feed, already sweating. The picture was grainy dark. For a moment, I thought it was a false alarm, then movement. A woman, pale, thin, long, tangled hair hanging over her face. She crawled from behind the insulation like some broken insect. Slowly, silently, she wore a baggy sweatshirt, my sweatshirt, the one I thought I lost in the laundry weeks ago. She moved with eerie calm, like this wasn't her first time. She picked something up, what looked like a notebook, and started writing by the light of a small flashlight. I watched, paralyzed. She was living up there, but here's the part that kept me from calling the police right away. She didn't just stay in the attic. Over the next few nights, I kept the monitor on. Every night, at exactly 3 a.m., she descended through the attic hatch carefully, silently. She'd move through my house. Sometimes she stood in the kitchen, watching the fridge, like she was deciding what to take. Other times, she simply sat on the couch, staring into the darkness. Once, she stood at the foot of my bed, just watching me sleep. I never felt her presence, never heard a sound. Rizzo, weirdly, never barked after that first night. It was like he didn't see her anymore. The 5th night, I decided I had to confront her. I couldn't keep living like this, pretending everything was okay. I called the non-emergency police line and told them I suspected someone had broken into my attic and was squatting there. They agreed to send an officer the next morning. But that night, I made a mistake. I left my bedroom door slightly open. At 3:09 a.m., the monitor pinged. She emerged again, but this time, she didn't just wander the house. She came into my room. I watched the footage live. She crept in, barefoot, the same baggy sweatshirt, same notebook clutched in her hands. She walked to the side of my bed and just stood there. For 5 full minutes, stopped breathing. Then she leaned down slowly and whispered something I couldn't hear. When I woke up, she was gone. The attic hatch was shut. The monitor was dead. And next to my bed on the floor was a piece of paper from the notebook. It said, "You shouldn't have seen me." The police came the next morning. They searched the attic. It was empty. No woman, no blanket, no notebook, no sign of anyone ever being there. But I kept the paper, and every night since, the attic creaks. And I sleep with the light on,